Alrighty folks, so here's the symptom. Whenever you go to lock the car or unlock, it sounds like something's happening, but nothing really is happening. So, lock, door still opens. Unlock, no change. So typically, that issue is the door lock actuator inside the car. The 4th gen parts are usually about $70 on Rock Auto. 5th gen, however, are substantially cheaper. So that's what I bought, and I'm going to see if they work on my car.
It might be easier if I roll the windows up. Got one.
Alright, so here's the deal. To get it out, so you saw I removed the 10mm bolt here. That's attaches this to the door right here. And there's a second one in the back that holds the window glass run door. Once that's unbolted, you can just pull it away and pull it out. That'll give you the room you need to get to these right here. Basically, I just used a stubby Phillips screwdriver to unscrew these two bolts. Once you get that window channel out, you just kind of stick a light back there and go by feel, because in here it's sitting roughly like this, so you kind of gotta feel around to get to these two screws. And that is these two guys right here. As you saw earlier, I am replacing the door lock actuator with the 5th gen unit, and after replacing it, there was no change. Here's a 5th gen door lock actuator unit, and here's one that came out of a 4th gen. The only difference between the two is this little knob right on here. This one I already swapped this little doobob over from the stock one. So if you look at a 5th gen one as it arrives, you can see this little movie doodad is a bit different. So it's just a matter of unscrewing it and screwing the new one on. And then it fits up and bolts up, and what's it who's, it's just fine. Anywho, so I replaced those in my car, no change. The door still wouldn't lock all the way when I used the key fob. So I went to my parts car and did a little jiggling. Basically, this one right here is the lock rod. It gave a much more firm action when moving it manually, versus this one, it was pretty darn sloppy. So you can see there's kind of a lot of there, and it's a little bit harder to show without the rods on, but I already popped them off and I'm not going to put it back on. So basically, if your door doesn't lock all the way, chances are, and you've replaced the lock actuator, chances are it's actually your door latch that's the issue. So I'm going to put this back in. This one right here is a out of a like 250,000-ish mile 99. I'm going to take it off and still store it away just in case. But as long as it's out, I am going to put these new ones on that I bought. And also, for what it's worth, these aftermarket units are slight. They feel a bit lighter than OEM. Probably just due to density and I found it. Density and quality of materials of what they use inside. But this is a race car, so I'm going to use the new lightweight stuff. Here is the old one. I took it apart, basically connected it, the harness up and locked, and everything moves fine. So this door lock actuator is actually fine, I think. So I'm probably just going to glue I'll add a little bit more grease and then put the cover back on, and just put it in my stash of parts that I'm hoarding for the apocalypse. Alright, so I got everything put back together for the most part. I've got the lock rods back in, the little drain protector behind it, that latch. I would say to look out for is if you use, where's my finger? That hole, this big hole right here. You look through there. It's a pain in the butt getting these lock rods back on and off without breaking them. But you see this red one here. That's attached to the lock mechanism on the outside door handle. If you look to the left, or the upper left, you can see a cutaway area. And at the bottom it looks like there's kind of like a little tab. You need to push that to the right, and it'll swivel up, and then you can pull that rod out towards you. That you will need to undo in order to remove the lock mechanism. Because if you look back in here, you can try undoing that white rod down there in the corner, but that's not as easy to get to. So when you're doing this, just be careful, try not to break these plastic parts, because by this time they're all old and fragile, or getting there at least. Anyhow, so that's got the 5th gen door lock actuator in there now. It plugs in just fine, no issues there. So yeah, now I'm going to grab my keys and fire it up. So this is what we're going to look for here. And then I will just shut the door with my foot here so that it thinks it's shut. And let's see. Alright. Oh, frick. So far so good. At least aside from the whole dropping the camera deal. Let's see. Unlock. Lock. Ah ha 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 ha. Whoop, whoop, whoop. Alright, we're in business. So, the issue in my case was the door latch, and you can use a 5th gen door lock actuator. Just make sure it is one with ABS, not ABS, with anti-lock. No, not anti-lock. Anti-theft. Make sure it's one with anti-theft, and it has the 4 pins for your harness connector. And I didn't go with the super cheap ones. These were some middle of the road. I think they were I don't know, ultra power. I don't remember if I bought the bottom of the barrel $13 or if I bought the more